Welcome back. Yesterday we introduced Google Sheets, and I really stressed how powerful it is because it really is. There's so much that you can do with it. And I gave you the words for your word bank. Well, I want to show you a few things. One, again, here's the words for your word bank. If you haven't done that or you missed yesterday, go ahead and write these down and put this video on pause. Look up the answers to this. And there goes my dogs. You have to forgive me. They get a little upset outside sometimes, and one's in the house. Anyway, as I was saying, what we want to do is I want to show you some of the tools here. And right now, you don't see any menus over here. But if I click on this row, which is one of our word bank words, vocabulary, excuse me. If you will right click on that, now you have a menu, a shortcut. Hey, here's some things. Maybe I want to hide the row or clear the data I've put in there. Actually, what I'm looking to do right now is I'm going to delete that row. I want to condense these words for the word bank so it's a little easier. So, all right, I want to pause this for a moment and go figure out what my dog's upset about, and I will be right back. You work on this word bank for a little. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. I think I put my dog outside. That's the neat thing about video recordings. You get a review and see all your mistakes or interruptions in this case. Back where I was, though, I was talking about how when you go up to a row, and the same with the columns, when I right click on my mouse, I have all these options. And some of them will actually work for the entire page. But most of it is for that column. And you can see how it's now saying columns, insert one to the left. So let me I'm going to insert one to the right, and you will see that I now have another one appear. But if I come over here and click on the rows, now it talks about how I can delete the row. I can resize the row. Row goes across, column goes up and down. It's kind of hard to remember, but given practice, you will. And it's critical that you do understand that because those are excellent test questions. So let's come up here to this row. I'm going to click here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to delete the row. Now, yesterday I asked you what careers would use a spreadsheet. And really, it's amazing the number of careers that can use it if they learn it. Teachers use spreadsheets. Doctors, nurses, farmers can use spreadsheets. My grandfather was a farmer, and my grandmother, she kept all these totals of expenditures and everything, and she wrote it by hand, but she pretty much used a spreadsheet. It was fascinating. And I know if they were alive today, they would really enjoy being able to use a spreadsheet to keep track of expenditures, just data as a whole. So you can see I've listed our vocabulary words here. You can also come up here, and what I like to do is put a title. And often a title can be just what is it? So I could sit there and say word bank. So I know what below it is that subject, that material. I can come over here and say course schedule. This really helps, like at the beginning of the school year, maybe at the second semester, if they change up your courses and you're trying to remember what room you go to. So we can say course schedule, and we can go first period. Second period. Now, I'm going to show you something else, and we're going to see how this works. I've highlighted first and second, and then you see this little dark square down in the corner. If I grab that, pull it on down, it didn't do it right. I want to hit Control Z. Sometimes with numbers and alphabet, it will fill in. It'll pick up where you're wanting to go and it will take off with that. Looks like we're just going to have to do it the old-fashioned way and type it in, which is just fine. Third period, fourth period, fifth period. Now, I didn't say anything, but yes, you have to do the same thing. So pause the video if you need to and type in all of these class periods of the day. Okay? So, all right, we've got our eight class periods put in here. Now we need to put in, we're going to talk about what is the subject. Well, my first period and yours is tech prep. Some of you, it may be third period. I admit I was wrong. Second period is my conference. Third period is another tech prep. Fourth period is tech craft. You need to be typing in what is your class period subject. You should have English, math, maybe PE, maybe choir or orchestra. I want you to put in what are your subjects that you have for each period. Fifth period is Principles of Information Technology. Now, again, I said, man, that one's kind of hard to type. It takes a lot. So I'm going to grab this dark dot. Boom. It just dropped it down there. It made a copy of it. Love that. Again, I could do the same thing here. So I'm going to grab that dark dot, drop it down. Now, notice this is outside my cell here. You see my cell lines here? They're kind of gray. But now my wording went outside that, and so it just sat there and it bled it on over so that I can read all of it. Well, now what we need to do is put in room numbers. Now, each one of you, your room numbers are going to come up different. 603. Well, that's my classroom. So guess what? I get the fortune of being 603. Well, I want to show you all this. 603 all the time. You have to put in different numbers. But if I come up here and click on that little black square dot and drag this down, it filled it all in for me. Excuse me. Notice though, principles of information, it disappeared. Well, that's because I put something in the cell that it was bleeding into. There's a couple of ways we could handle this. I could come up here and grab this little bar and I can drag it out. And again, drag it out until I've reached the space that I could read all of it. Okay. The other thing I could do, and I want to take it back to about where it was, give or take a little bit. I can come over here, click on the column, and go Format. And I could sit there and tell it I want my text wrapping. I want it to wrap. Now it stayed within the cell. It just made the cell taller. So text wrapping can really help in organizing how you want your material to be read. For example, right here in this cell, again, it's kind of bleeding over a little bit and I can't read all the word. But if I go to Format, Text Wrapping, Wrap, now it drops it down. I can read all of it. Pretty cool. So this is what I expect to see. I want you to send me a screenshot of that. Now, I don't want my schedule. I want you to send me a screenshot of your class schedule. So let's pause for a few minutes, work on this, send me a screenshot of what you should have here. Please pay attention to the directions. You can do this. It's really not that hard, but listen carefully to the video directions, and it makes a lot more sense. Many of you are trying to listen to music, play a game, and it makes this really hard because you're not paying attention. So, also, please, people, respect yourself and respect your family. I want everyone to be healthy. I've heard of several teachers at other campuses that have come down with the coronavirus. Maybe that's because students were not wearing their mask in the classroom or in the halls. I feel sorry for those teachers. It's very uncomfortable. They're running a fever. They don't feel good. They hurt all over. But most importantly, they're not in the classroom with you. Please respect this. Respect yourself. Respect your family. Respect your family here at Bonham Middle School. Take care. I look forward to seeing you soon.